Hey folks, this week Dan joins me and we talk with Farid Abdelnour about Kdenlive. It's the open source video editor from KDE, and it's also what we use to edit this show. It's a lot of fun, you don't want to miss it. This is FLOSS Weekly, episode 843, recorded Tuesday, August the 19th. Money usually helps. It's time for FLOSS Weekly. That's the show about free, libre, and open source software. I'm your host, Jonathan Bennett, and today we're going to talk about something that I have used extensively for years, and we've got a co-host as well. So it's Dan, Method Dan the man, the original Linux outlaw. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me back. It's great to be here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about video editing today. That's going to be something I spend a bit of time doing, but probably not as much time as you, Jonathan, I'm imagining.
I spend as little time doing it as possible, just because I have so many other things going on. But when I do it, I generally do it inside of Kdenlive, which is what we're talking about today. There's been a couple of times that I've had to move away to a different editor for one reason or another. So I will occasionally use Shotcut is kind of like my second choice. And I think that's the one that you use primarily on Linux, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I use Shotcut a lot. I've even used it on Windows. I shouldn't say that here, but I have, and I've used it in other places. But yeah, I use Shotcut a lot. But I've been looking at Kdenlive today, and I said to you, Jonathan, before we started that I hadn't used it in about 10 years. So that's my fault. And it's definitely changed a lot in 10 years. I can say that.
It's a lot better experience than it was 10 years ago. That's for sure. All right, well, let's go ahead and bring our guest on. And I'm going to probably ruin this name. He is Brazilian, I believe, Farid Abdelnour. And again, he will let me know if I said that wrong. But welcome, sir, to the show. We're so glad to have you here.
Hello, all. Happy to be here. It's Farid Abdelnour.
Aha, Farid. I can get that. I can get Farid. That one's easy enough.
Well.
So, Kdenlive, what is... I think most people are going to be at least passingly familiar, our audience at least, is going to be at least passingly familiar with what Kdenlive is. I guess the first question is, what is your connection to Kdenlive? How are you involved in it? Are you, are you the maintainer of Kdenlive? Are you one of many? Are you the program editor? Like, how do you fit into this?
Well, I'm a video maker, and around 2004-05, I discovered the free software, and that changed my life. And then I said, I'm gonna do everything I do for work using free software. And back in the days, I mean, we had Kino, we had all these other video editors. We used to film using tapes, mini DV and DV cam and stuff like that. So I started using all the available free programs out there. Then I discovered Kdenlive. I started using it alongside Cinanera. Those were the main two. And then I got more intimate with Kdenlive. I liked a bit more the interface, which was horrible back then, but I mean, and one time I finished the project, then the client called me and said, I need to do a different kind of cut to send it to a festival. And it wouldn't work. And I panicked, and I stayed all night practically trying to fix the issue, trying to find the problem. And that's when I said, I'm gonna file a bug. So I went to, back in the day, it wasn't even, it was Mantis bug trigger. I went there, I posted a bug, and then that was like my first touch with Kdenlive, my first contact. And after that, I started like reporting bugs, getting feedback with the developers, and I would say I'm a power user, and I do some design work, I do promo communication as well. I do a lot of QA. I basically use Kdenlive every day. I compile it from master branch, and I use it for work. And I like pull the bug line, I report with it. So yeah, living on the edge.
Now hang on. You just said, I'm just a power user. And then you said, I compile from master every day. You, sir, are beyond just a power user.
Well, I'm an editor, but I became a late stage nerd, so I discovered free software at an old age, and I like it. So, so you know.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You use Kdenlive professionally then?
Yeah, yeah. I have we have a studio that works with design and communication here in Brazil. We do like a lot of big work with big clients and stuff like this, only using free software. So we've been 16 years doing this, only using Inkscape, Scribus, Kdenlive, and everything.
Yes. I remember having ambitions to do something very similar when I was about 17 years old. My path did not quite go that direction, but I would have found that very fascinating at the time too. That's very cool that you have an opportunity to actually do this. You've seen quite a few things change in this space in that amount of time, in better than 15 years.
Oh, definitely, and not just in Kdenlive. I mean, Dan said that he hasn't used Kdenlive in 10 years. It's changed a lot, but also the whole ecosystem of programs like Inkscape, Scribus, and GIMP, and Krita, and Blender, especially Blender. And Blender has been amazing. It has changed a lot in the last 10 years. So it's amazing to see all this beautiful, great work done by free software and
yeah, absolutely.
in organic space in the professional markets. It's very cool.
I think if we have that list, we really ought to put Ardor on that list as well. If you're doing strictly audio editing, because it is, it definitely belongs on that list as world-class open source software. Possibly the best in its particular category, in my opinion. So don't want to leave them out. Is that part of your workflow, or do you actually do all of your audio editing right in Kdenlive?
I've used Ardor for some studio work, but sometimes what we need is something simpler, which is like just to record one person. So I use Audacity most of the time, or usually I use like hardware like Zoom and record there and then pass it to Kdenlive. And but Kdenlive has a beautiful audio recording feature as well, so which works nicely.
Yeah, it's very usable. I've done some audio editing inside of Kdenlive. So I will tell you, the Zoom recorder. My workflow for this show actually is we use OBS to do the recording, and I get a live multi-track recording of it. I extract the audio and I put that into Ardor, and I do like the master cut in Ardor of the audio. And then I pull that into Kdenlive along with the raw video, trim off the audio out of the raw video, and then line them up. And then that is our video cut, comes out of Kdenlive. And that almost always works really, really well. There was
your difficulties and your workflows.
Yeah, the two things that have gotten me, and they're both to do with that the lining up of audio and video. Like that's a difficult problem. There was one or two releases of Kdenlive where when you went to import long audio and video files, they would be offset like on the timeline, and that hurt for a little while. I did use a Shotcut for a while when that was the case, but that has gotten fixed. You know, that was. I don't know if you were the first one that saw that, but somebody saw it very quickly, and that got fixed in the next release. And then one of the other things that some video editors will let you do. My first video editing experience was in Sony Vegas, and so there's some tricks that it let you do that Kdenlive doesn't. One of the ones that really I sort of miss is the ability to just put two videos on the video timeline and you mash them together and it automatically gives you a crossfade. I sort of miss that in Kdenlive, but other than that, it really does basically everything I need it to, and it's a pretty good experience.
Interesting. I know this feature. It would be handy for sure, but I mean. We are a very small team of developers, actually.
I know.
I don't even know how many of downloads we get per month. And this is basically done by one or two people, the program. You won't believe it. It's crazy.
I'm very curious. Do you have numbers on the downloads?
Well, we were actually just seeing some stats earlier today. The last just so you know, the last major release we got, which was the last release before this major one, which was last month, which was version 25.4.3. We got just binaries from app image from our website. This is not considering distro packages. We got more than 1,200,000 downloads.
You had more than 1 million downloads of the app image for a single release.
And for Windows, we have about 900,000.
Wow.
Which is very impressive. I think Dan
It's
wanted to...
worked by like 2 people, which is crazy. I don't believe it. I mean, it's crazy.
That's great. I think Dan had some questions about the Windows angle. Is that where you were going to go, Dan?
A little bit. I mean, I think it's interesting that you make the program available and make sure it works on all platforms. Is that really important to you guys to make sure that you can reach the widest possible audience?
Definitely. I mean, we work on free software programs like Linux and FreeBSD, but we also work on Windows. We're always trying to fix Mac OS as well. We're actually also, someone has managed to port Kdenlive on Haiku OS.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Cool.
someone has tried to run it on Postmarket OS as well. So, I mean, yeah, the more platforms we run on, the better, I think. And now we're doing some extra work trying to make Kdenlive and MLT, which is our framework, to compile using MSVC. So that would make us be able to distribute Kdenlive in the Windows Store as well. So, yeah, I mean, because we really don't want to force people to use like Linux only for their work. Some people, even though I would prefer it as well, of course, but we can do some.
I was going to say, no, make them use Linux.
So what about like mobile platforms like Android? Do you guys have any plans to target that in any way?
We have some demand for this. So we have tried. Julius, who is a member of the team, has managed to make some initial work in compiling it on Android, but it needs a bit more of work. Currently, our focus is on improving some major issues that we want to tackle, which is in audio, improve our audio workflow, and also try to put more like improve our video performance, our decoding and encoding and stuff like this, as well as try to add more color management features, 10-bit editing. So those are like the big 3 places that we want to go to.
Yeah, that sounds very, very cool. What about HDR and HDR1?
Well, that would come in the 10-bit workflow. So
Okay.
at the moment, you can actually use Kdenlive for 10-bit editing.
Okay.
The problem is that as soon as you add an effect, it goes back to 8 bits.
Yeah.
Because we use Freyer, which is our effect engine, and that only works on 8-bit colors.
Interesting.
So we have some possibilities, which is there is already a color and effects framework which is called Mavit. It works in Shotcut. It used to work in Kdenlive, but we disabled it because it was a bit unstable. So that is a possibility to work on. Another one that we're trying to eventually probably think of is to do something from the ground up and do our own effect engine and workflow and stuff. But I mean, this is not something very easy to do, and it's we're trying to work with MLT devs to make this happen. I do not know what is the best approach or what will be the final solution, but this is something we really want to focus on in the coming years.
So one of the great things that I love about free software, open source software, is that you kind of link to the user and you're getting feedback. And you mentioned Blender before. Now, Blender for me, I'm not great with Blender. I'm not a great 3D artist, but I love how great Blender is. And one of the things they do is they've done a lot of projects over the years where they've worked with filmmakers and they've as the filmmaker is trying to make the film, they can turn around and say, why doesn't it do this? Or why doesn't it do that? And the developers kind of develop in real time with the filmmakers as well. Is that something that you guys would like to do or consider doing? Or is that something that you're kind of already doing with your bug fixes coming in and your feedback that you're getting?
Definitely Blender is a great inspiration for this. We actually, some of our team members went to the Blender Institute this year.
Very cool.
We had a small meetup with some of the people there. We're trying to work with other projects to improve the whole video editing and video making workflow in the free software alternatives, let's say. But we kind of already do this in-house because I do this in my professional work. Yeah. We also have another team member whose name is Massimo. He's an Italian editor. He works for like BBC and other big companies. And we always like give our input and our feedback to the devs, and they try to like develop and add our needs. So we kind of already have this in a smaller scale in-house. But I have to tell you, a personal dream of mine, a personal project, would be to do like an open movie using Kdenlive as an editor and have this work. Yeah. There's also another person who's kind of in the team. His name is Bruno from Portugal. He does like this 48-hour film projects and uses Kdenlive to edit his films. So, I mean, we kind of do this, but not in a studio's version scale where we have like, it will happen eventually.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm curious. I want to jump in and go back one issue, one question to the idea of the plugins. You're talking about video plugins. I'm super curious about audio plugins. Do you know, does Kdenlive have support for things like VSTs and LV2s, some of the existing audio plugin frameworks?
We have support for LADSPA, and we also have support for LV2. And probably someone might eventually add support for VST. There is also about video effects. There is also a project to add open effects in Kdenlive. So that would open the doors to like adding like all these huge even paid effects inside Kdenlive. So this is also something in the works.
Very cool.
There's also even like an initial work. It's tested and stuff, but it's not finished yet. So.
Oh, that's really neat. I love the ability to pull from the larger communities, like plugins and all those things. That's one of the cool things about like open source, but also just the creative community that's out there. Even if it's not people that are open source nuts like we are, they still kind of do the same thing. They'll put these plugins out. You know, some of them you pay for, some of them are free. But just the fact that there's so many to choose from, you can just grab a plugin off the shelf and pop it into a project and get something out of it. I think it's neat. It's one of the cool things about doing all this.
I totally agree about this beauty of free software, because like Kdenlive is basically an interface of MLT, which is a framework that runs on top of FFmpeg, which itself uses other things, and MLT uses Frayer for video effects, LADSPA, LV2. So it's a lot of small projects working together to make something bigger, and which is like other free software programs work, like, you know, like KDE, Plasma, or I don't know, GIMP or whatever, Krita. You know, it's a lot of people working together and make something big happen. It's I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You said there was only like 2 people working on the Kdenlive project?
Well, for many years, there was only one person, actually. And in the recent years, ever since 2017, 18, we've had some people come and go. Now we have steadily a team of 2 devs, of developers, right? But we do have a team of people who work on documentation and bug reporting and stuff. But development, there are only 2 people from the core team.
Right.
We recently attracted some more developers, so now we have like a 3rd person who's been doing refactoring the whole subtitling system.
Okay.
We've seen like someone else just coming in and doing a lot of just find something that they want to fix and they fix it. And also we did something very cool in the last couple of years. We had our fundraiser and we got some money to do some features. And with the bonus that we got, we managed to hire 2 developers. And one of them worked on adding Open Timeline IO, which will improve the interoperability with other programs. And the other one is we improved like dramatically the performance of audio waveform generation and the whole audio workflow. So we have we've had a surge of development in the past couple of years.
Yeah, very cool. I seem to remember in the news sometime recently that Kdenlive was adding AI features. And when I heard this, I went, oh no, not them too. But I have a feeling that maybe it's something that makes more sense than some of the other AI features we hear about in the news.
Yeah, and then it is not the AI tools like generative AI that they create stuff, which I really don't like that for environmental reasons as well. But we have the option if someone wants to use Whisper, which is an AI feature to create subtitles. So you have your models, you can download them and generate subtitles. And the other feature that we added recently, which is SAM2, which is object segmentation, which basically means remove the backgrounds. So those are 2 AI features that we have, but they are very concise and they are very, you can use them if you want as an effect, but it is not fundamental to the video editing process.
Indeed. So you guys, you were talking about that fundraiser. Let's dive into that just a little bit more. What was the approach there, and how did that go?
Well, we always work in the project on our free time out of love and dedication, and because we like also to do it. It is also a hobby. But life gets caught up with you, and you have to do some life work and stuff. So what we did from our fundraiser, we realized that it was not sustainable to have our developer just working all his free time without getting back.
Yeah.
So we managed to make a nice compromise of him dedicating an hour a week, a part of his day per week on developing on Kdenlive and getting paid for it. So we did a lot of very nice features during this fundraiser, and one of the biggest was that we did was having sequences, which those who don't know are like tabs in the timeline, so you can have various timelines in the same project. And this is a huge improvement for a creative professional workflow, and it has made my life so much easier working with this. So that was one of the biggest features that we had, and also the performance and Open Timeline IO. And we're trying. It took us 2 years to implement everything from the fundraiser. We successfully did it. So this was very nice to see. We are maybe in the place of trying to do another one to add some more effects as well, or some more features that we need. So this has been a positive thing that we tried, and it worked well.
Yeah. When you do the fundraiser, is it what's the model? Is it almost like a not Patreon? What am I trying to think of?
Kickstarter?
Yes, thank you. Kickstarter. Is it like a Kickstarter where you say, this is what we want to do? Here are the features that you are funding, or are you doing it in kind of more the KDE style where it's like, hey, if you like this software, you could give us a couple of bucks?
No, what we did was we said we would like. I think we initially asked for 15,000 euros, something like this. And it was to implement nested sequences, work a bit on performance improvements, and add as well effects, effects, improve the whole effect workflow.
Right.
And we managed to do it, and it was very nice. And we also got some extra bonus. I think we got about 22,000 euros in the end. And we used that money to hire two devs to add some more features. So yeah. And also we have an ongoing, it's not a fundraiser, but people can always if they would like to contribute, they can just click on the donation button and donate to Kdenlive. And yeah, we use this money to do our sprints and also help KDE with the infrastructure because, having the whole servers and stuff.
Servers cost money. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So on Monday, this week, in fact, which is very timely, you released your latest major release, and I thought we'd have a little chat about that because obviously it's a major milestone for you guys. What can you tell us anything about the new release? What's in there? What kind of things would you like people to know about the new release?
Well, this new release is a bit different than all the previous ones because in this release we not add any new features. Mm-hmm. We focused on bug fixing and polishing and bug fixing and polishing, and that's all we did. So we improved a lot of the workflow. We improved a lot of interface stuff. We added, we basically polished the program and made it more stable.
Mm-hmm. I noticed, I was reading up, I actually read your blog post today about the release, and I was interested in some of the stuff you've done with the audio mixer. You've made that easier to use visually by putting in the VU meters and all those sorts of things. Is that the sort of things you've been doing, like polishing the UI as well?
Yeah, actually the mixer was added by one of the developers. They just came in and said, hey, let's improve the mixer, and they didn't, and it is so cool. But we used to have a mixer, but it wasn't really acting like a mixer. I mean, the sliders were just like buttons and stuff. So now we have like a proper interface of a mixer, and it looks really good. And I think anyone coming from a different program or even an audio program can look at the mixer and feel at home with it. So this was a very nice feature to add. And we also improved stuff in the tightener, in the scopes. So yeah, I mean, a lot of nice polishing work.
So I mean, I had a look at the mixer earlier. It gave me Ardor vibes, which is a compliment, I hope. That's kind of the vibe I got from it, which is very cool. Can you do, this is something Jonathan's kind of just fed me in the background there, which is very, very good. Can you do stuff with MIDI? Do you have can you capture MIDI information and use that in the program at all?
No, currently no.
Okay.
I do not know how this would be used for video editing, but I mean, if you have a feature request, please go ahead and open it, and we can think about it for sure. Yeah. We're very open to get input and
I was thinking about automation for like your mixing and stuff. So one of the things that I do when I'm doing music stuff, which with whatever it may be, sometimes it's harder, it's not always, I have to confess, but I like to do automation on things like mix downs, so with the mixer I want to record live my kind of mix of what I'm doing, and then it's like, I suppose, like a macro in a way where it plays it back to you. So yeah, that could be something that we should think about for the future, but who knows. So I wanted to talk a bit about the way you kind of release the program, because you do a lot of app images, and I noticed you got a flat pack, which is great because I like flat packs. But do you have any problems with like distro packaging? Packaging the program for different distros. Do you guys do that within the team, or do you rely on the distributions to kind of get it and package it and push it out?
Distro packaging has always been kind of a nightmare.
Right.
Especially back in the day, because I'm not saying like it wasn't our fault. Kdenlive used to be very buggy, especially before the 1904 release, which is when we did a huge refactoring. But back in the day, I mean, there were like, each distro would have a different version of MLT, of FFmpeg, of Qt, and all this fact, and then they would just ship Kdenlive. Yeah. And this would cause a lot of bugs, crashes, problems. Sure. Nowadays, it is not as bad as it was before. And also, I think more, I mean, for a nice, I would say for a good distro package experience, go with Arch Linux because it has all the latest things and it will work fine. I would recommend people who use like Debian, Ubuntu, and Fedora, even and other programs. Just use our binaries and they work well. And
Yeah, I mean the app images are really good and so on. I find that I use Flatpak quite a lot, so that's why I was really pleased when I saw you guys have a Flatpak option on the download, which is cool.
Specifically for the Flatpak, sorry to interrupt you, but specifically
carry
for the Flatpak, we do have an in-house KDE Flatpak version, but it is a nightly build. Our Flatpak, official Flatpak, is distributed from FlatHub, and we work with the FlatHub people to like improve the packaging if there is issues and stuff like this. So we work with the FlatHub for Kdenlive Flatpaks. The rest we do it in-house at KDE.
Right, okay. Do you do snaps at all? Are you into snaps with Ubuntu and all of that? Is that an extra layer of work that you guys don't necessarily need?
We do not officially... well, I do not think our snaps are ready to like put it in our website, but the KDE people, some KDE people work on improving snaps. I think eventually they will become good, and then we can like promote it in our website. But currently, it's not in a production-ready state, I would say.
That's fair enough. I use Linux Mint, so it's all it's all built around Flatpaks, which is quite handy, as I mentioned before. Although weirdly, it is based on Ubuntu, so it probably should have snaps as well. So you mentioned that it's quite a small team working on the project. Obviously, you've got people doing different things. You've got the core developers, but you've also got people doing translations and documentation and promotion, all those sorts of things. Is there any areas where you'd like to get more people involved? Is there anything that you think it'd be great if we had someone who could do this or that? Because I was thinking it could give you a chance to kind of do a shout out and say, hey, we'd like some people to help us with XYZ.
Well, definitely any help is welcome in any front, let's say. We do have a very big translation community because we use the KDE infrastructure of the translation. So the whole KDE community translates Kdenlive. But if people are interested in improving their languages, they can just get in touch with the KDE team that works on that. We do have, I would say, the documentation side. It is mostly done by our team members, but if help is always welcome in that front. Of course, help with development. But what I would say, what we really need help with is bug triaging. We have a bug tracker that is very old, that has very old versions as well, and we have many open bugs that are there. Yes. So definitely help with, hey, let me like take half an hour of my day, test a couple of bugs, see if they are still valid. If not, just say, let's close this. This would help us a lot because we have a very big list of bugs. Many of them are not even valid anymore. But it's just a small team and we can't really go through everything. So bug triaging would be very helpful.
I have had good experience with Stalebot because people get mad at the robot and instead of your developers, just let the robot close it automatically.
We've been trying to do this and we've managed to close some, but I mean, there are many open ones.
I understand how that goes. I'm curious. I'm going to follow up on this. Thinking about that idea of more people writing source code, working on the code itself, what is the barrier to entry to what is it like to someone coming along the project and saying, hey, I want this new feature and actually making it happen? So like what language is Kdenlive primarily written in, and what's it like, how difficult is the code base to find your way around it?
Kdenlive is part of KDE, which uses Qt and KDE frameworks. And for that, you need to know a bit of C++ as well. Okay. So basically, we need people who know C++, Qt, some QML as well would be helpful. some of our newer plugins, which are like for the AI stuff, like Whisper and SAM2, they've used Python to organize the whole plugin system. So maybe people who know a bit of Python could help on that front as well. Yeah, I mean, C++, yeah. Let's say C++.
And then what is the project itself, like on the developer side? How friendly to new people is it? And I don't I want to be careful how I ask this. I just know though in different projects sometimes you have a bit different vibe. So if someone came in and was really excited but didn't know, let's say they knew C++ but didn't know Qt very well, and came in and said, "Hey, I want to do this thing, but I'm going to need help." Like, is that something that would be welcomed, or should someone brush up on their Qt knowledge a bit more before they try to come into the project and help? Does it? I hope that question makes sense. If you know what I'm getting at.
Actually, we are a very friendly community. You can just a person interested in contributing in development can just drop by in our dev channel, and they can just ask a question. Someone will answer it. We can help them get through the hurdles of setting up the environment and stuff like this. We also have all this documented, so people can just read the documentation and ask questions. But yeah, we are very open, not just to like people wanting to contribute, but also to listening to the community, what kind of features they want, and we brainstorm some of the things. But we're very open to like input and feedback from the community, and if developers want to join in, that would be lovely. I mean, we're very open.
Now I've got to ask because we
Well, I'm scared, but we're not.
I've got to ask because it's 2025. What does the project feel about vibe coding? If someone said, I vibe coded this new thing and it works, here's my 100,000 line patch.
Yeah, we do not like, I mean, this is not something I don't recall discussing this with the team, but I think my intuition and my general feeling about it is we do not like AI slop. And I can tell you this is a general KDE community thing. We are not into this. So it would be nice if people know the fundamentals and want to contribute. Yeah, we don't like this, no.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is something that a lot of projects are sort of having to deal with. Because like we've got these tools out there that if someone knows what they're doing, they're super useful to be able to get like the boilerplate put together of the thing that you're wanting to do. I've used them a tiny bit. It's hilarious. I had a weird programming problem, and I spent probably 30 minutes chatting with Copilot about it. And I was like, "Why do you think this error is happening?" And Copilot gave me 4 or 5 different things. It's like, well, it might be because of this, it might be because of that. And the thing that I loved is I could then go to Copilot and say, "I've checked this. I know it's not that," and it would remember that and say, "Okay, well, here are the other 3 things that it could be." So that part was great. It ended up not being any of the things the Copilot thought it was, though. So limited actual usefulness there. But has Kdenlive come to the point to where people are trying to vibe code things and give you big pull requests?
No.
Okay, well,
I'm happy about this.
Yes. I would say it is probably coming. So just be prepared for that.
Yeah, so far nothing, and I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it will work. It's very complicated, and I don't know if. I mean, if you go beyond the hype, I don't think there is a lot of useful thing. I mean, if you go very deep, I don't think it's ready for really contributing to Kdenlive.
Yeah, no.
Maybe for superficial kind of simple projects, it might be useful. I don't know. I'm not a dev, but I'm just imagining. But something more complex, I don't think vibe coding will come to Blender as well, or I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
Dan, are you a vibe coder?
I'm not. No, I'm too old, and I'm shaking my stick at that sort of thing. Generally, I think I'm just too old for that. I don't think it's my generation's kind of thing. I'm not sure. But one thing I did want to ask about was you're involved with KDE as well, obviously, because I mean you're working with Kdenlive, but you also do other stuff with KDE. So tell us a bit about that. What else? How else are you involved with the KDE project?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I at the end of last year, I became a KDE contractor, and I've been working on as a project manager for the KDE goals, which is a 2-year project that the KDE community has, which we built for 3 objectives, and we try to make them happen. This year, we're doing 3 nice, very interesting projects. One of them is called We Care About Your Input, and we've been working a lot on improving hardware input inside KDE. So a lot of graphics tablets, virtual keyboards, on-screen keyboards, mice for gaming. I mean, we're like trying to tackle all this external input support. One of our devs even contributed a kernel patch in 6.17. It will come out.
Very cool.
A lot of very good work in supporting artists and gamers and everything related to input, let's say, devices. We have another project called KDE Meets You, and this is about how we can make our community stay alive and young and fresh, because many of us are just becoming graybeards and we're gonna just be shaking our sticks and look, people coming. So we're working about how to get new contributors to KDE, how to get more people to use to participate in mentorship programs, and the gist of it is this: to keep the community alive and healthy, let's say. And the last one is about streamlined application development experience. 2 very cool things that is happening now inside this project is that we have framework bindings. So up until now, KDE used to be only C++. Now we have bindings for Python and Rust. So people who know Python can create programs using KDE frameworks or also Rust. This is something very new into the KDE community as well, but it is very powerful to have like this whole framework for creating interfaces available to Python and Rust developers, and also improving like our infrastructure and our API documentation work. And we have a lot of work. We've been doing a lot of nice work. In September, it will be a year. And I think we've done a lot of nice things, and then we have 1 more year to go.
Excellent. And you've got a sprint coming up as well. You've got Academy, which is coming up, which is a big KDE event, obviously, and you've got a sprint coming up. Is that a Kdenlive sprint?
Yes. So the team will be in Berlin at the beginning of September. We'll be doing a 4-day sprint. This is where we like get together and plan what we're gonna do in the coming years. We're gonna probably like work on what features we need, stuff for infrastructure, website, improve our website, our documentation. It's where we work on everything Kdenlive. We get together and just sit in a room for the whole day, for 4 or 5 days, and just see everything we can do to improve Kdenlive. And then at that weekend, we'll be attending Academy, which is the annual KDE conference. So yeah, we have like a whole September, the first week of September, we'll be in Berlin working on Kdenlive and other KDE stuff.
Excellent. Cool. Do you do any demos and things of Kdenlive? Because I was just thinking, probably not at Academy, because people already know, I would imagine, who go for that, about Kdenlive. But being in the kind of video industry, the film making industry as well, do you ever do demos at like those kind of events where people might say, I've never considered using this editor, but maybe I would if now that I've seen what it can do? Yeah. We've attended like other events, but always inside the KDE booth. And the KDE booth here, we showcase Krita, we showcase Kdenlive, we showcase KDE Plasma and everything. I don't recall doing anything specific for Kdenlive, but we've tried to get in touch with some, I can't recall the name, but it is a university, a high school
project in, say, in the States, where you would have like all these high school that would do like films. So we tried to get in touch with these kind of people, and I think eventually we'll be at SIGGRAPH, but we need a bit of to add a bit more features and be, let's say, production ready for. Basically we need GPU support and 10-bit, improve our 10-bit workflow, that we can be at SIGGRAPH.
Yeah. I've got to ask, because it's been one of the problems with Linux for the longest time, and I'm sure it must drive you crazy too. And that is audio video codecs and support, particularly for the patent encumbered codecs. Is that still just the absolute nightmare that it's been for the last 20 years?
Honestly, I mean, we handle anything that FFmpeg can handle, and that handles a lot of codecs. The only one I can think about that that people might need, but I'm not sure, is the Blackmagic Bureau raw file. But I mean, if FFmpeg doesn't handle it, no one does. So it's very proprietary, and it's only for Blackmagic. So I mean,
yeah. So you guys have just abstracted away that problem. Let the FFmpeg guys handle that.
Yeah, I mean, they handle everything. So I mean, if the huge studios out there use it, I mean, we're in good hands, let's say.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I think anything digital video that you see anywhere has gone through FFmpeg at least 5 times by the time it hits your eyeballs. Anywhere, everywhere, everything uses FFmpeg. It is in the running for one of the most widely used projects. I don't know that it's in quite as many installs as something like libcurl, where we talked with the guy behind libcurl, and he had an estimate that, was it 1 trillion? He had an estimate of how many installs of libcurl there were around the world, and it was mind-boggling. It was a bunch. But yeah, FFmpeg is in a lot of places too. So we've talked about GPU handling, GPU acceleration. Do we know when that is coming? Do we need another fundraiser to make that actually happen? This is something I find I would be interested in as well.
To make it come faster, a fundraiser would definitely help.
Yeah.
Because this is not a trivial thing to do. It needs a lot of engineering, and it needs to be thought really well. And if we could have a fundraiser, it could definitely help out. We've actually submitted to the FLOSS Fund, which is an institution that sponsors some free software projects. Maybe they can, if they would be interested, they could sponsor this. And maybe we can try to tackle this for a future fundraiser as well. But definitely having some money put into this feature would make it come faster, of course.
Money usually helps.
Doesn't solve everything, but it can help.
True. So we talked about 10-bit for the HDR and related things, and GPU. As you kind of look forward on the roadmap, are there any other really interesting to-do features that are either, in process or planned?
Let me just check our roadmap. But I mean, one of the things I would like to do is, a very good one that is coming up is we want to do like we've called it dope sheet improvement, which is basically a rewrite of the whole timeline of handling keyframing. So currently it is like each effect has its own timeline, and you add effects there. We're trying to create like a general timeline where you can have all the effects listed, and then you could have like keyframes in everything.
Yes.
This is one of the most exciting short term, I would say, that are coming. We have plans to also improve the audio routing and channel mapping and have like surround sound and all this kind of stuff. we're thinking about eventually also integrating with maybe Blender, Natron, try to find ways to work with Ardor. And let's see what we can also have. We also have a project to think about collaborative editing, where you have people in different places in the world working together in an edit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I tell you what would be amazing. This would be a huge stretch, but the Ardor has some support for doing video through another plugin. What would be outstanding is if you just had a video timeline in Ardor that was Kdenlive. And so you could just edit the audio and the video at the same time. Like, that would be outstanding. But
that is one of the integrations that we would envision to happen. It would be something like that. So you have like both timelines in sync, and then you can just put your audio in Ardor, play it in Kdenlive, and work together with other programs, rather than having to reinvent the wheel. So yeah, this could happen. I don't know.
That would be amazing. I would use that weekly. I would use that all the time. That would cut down on my workflow quite a bit. That sounds incredible. So put me down as someone excited about that idea. I also understand that is a huge lift and not something that will be trivially done.
I think it's not that hard, honestly.
Really?
But I mean, so much to do, just two people doing it. So we have to like really choose carefully what we want to achieve, and
absolutely,
just step by step.
Absolutely. All right, Dan, was there any final questions that you wanted to get in before we get down to the wrap?
I'm just trying to think now. I think, well, we've covered a lot of stuff. I suppose very quickly, I'm interested in things like educational stuff that could be done around this. So like teaching people to use Kdenlive. Is that one of the things I found with Shotcut? One of the reasons I started using Shotcut was because there were thousands of YouTube videos, other things out there where people would teach you how to do certain things. Is that something that goes on in the Kdenlive community, or is it something that you would like to see go on maybe?
Well, I personally, I am also an educator, so I've done a lot of workshops with various kind of communities here in Brazil, being indigenous, sometimes in like youth centers, like youth jails, in schools, in high schools. So I personally do this kind of promotion. You'll be surprised that if you go to YouTube, you'll start seeing a whole ecosystem of people doing Kdenlive tutorials and hopefully eventually profiting out of it, making money out of their tutorials. So we've had some big channels doing this kind of work. So I would definitely like to see this grow. This is something that would be very nice to see, to create an ecosystem of people, not just doing tutorials, but also maybe selling products for Kdenlive, like or sharing. We have a plugin, a third-party plugin system. Like if you go to the KD store, you can download like some effects and stuff like this. And people have done a lot of work in this kind of front. I think it's stored at kd.org, and then you have a Kdenlive filter, and there you can like download a whole bunch of effects and presets, and so I mean, we
that
don't
sounds
have
great.
We have these small ecosystems of people working and sharing, and I would love to see this grow, definitely.
To be fair, while you were talking there, I just looked up on YouTube Kdenlive tutorials, and there are lots. I didn't actually look before asking that. I could have basically. You almost could have said, "Do you want me to Google that for you?" Because I've just done it, and there is a lot out there. Yeah, so that's great to see.
Yeah.
And very good quality ones, not just like someone in their bedroom. I mean, you see people like putting out of production effort in some tutorials, which is very nice to see happening. And hopefully this increases. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember talking about sort of the education piece. I remember it's been 10 years ago now. There's a relatively successful YouTube channel, Computer File. And he had an episode where he was talking about like free software. and wanted to try to edit it using only free software. And he ended up using Kdenlive. Now, it was the Kdenlive of 2014, so like he had some complaints about it. But that was one of the first times that I remember seeing Kdenlive kind of like in a space outside of just the Linux desktop, somebody talking about it. And it's I would be very fascinated to see I think Brady Haran is the guy's name. See him come back to it and try to use it again and see if he has different opinions about it now.
Actually, I mean, I see a lot of difficulty people using Kdenlive is a lot mental than technical, because a lot of people, I mean, they do YouTube videos. I'm not taking the merit out of YouTube videos, but they are relatively simple to do because it involves like adding a track, maybe some graphics,
Right.
and some audio work, which is not something very complex, really. I mean, some of the stuff I do, like where I have like sometimes 1 terabyte of footage from 3 different cameras and interviews and B-roll. This is something more complex and it is achievable. So, I mean, many people, they say, I don't want to try Kdenlive or Blender or Krita because there's this whole mindset of the market, like I have to use Adobe products or I have to use like what the market says. And
Right.
I mean, it's mental rather than really true technically. I mean, I'm not saying that Kdenlive is perfect or anything like that, but I mean, a lot of the work people want to do is feasible. It's not something very difficult.
I will say that one of the reasons that I stick with Kdenlive for my editing for this show is because several other editors that I've tried to use, when you import an hour-long video, they just do not do well on performance. And Kdenlive can handle that like a champ. And obviously it's because, you know, you've got beta and alpha testers like you that are pulling in a terabyte worth of video and want to make sure that it works well. The other thing that came to mind when you said that is there's this kind of, I don't know, I think it's a truism that you always prefer the first video editor that you learned on, and all of the rest of them just have the wrong shortcuts mapped. And so it's got to be kind of a challenge to try to convince people to move away from Adobe or Sony or whatever they're on to Kdenlive, because it's like none of the shortcuts are in the right place.
We do have shortcut layouts for other programs, by the way. But if that were the case, I started editing with linear video editors. So you would put like 2 tapes and then like, so yeah, I don't want to go back to those days.
Indeed. All right. It has been a lot of fun having you here. Is there anything we didn't ask about that you wanted to make sure and cover?
I don't think so. I mean, we covered a nice amount of stuff.
Yeah, we did. All right, so I've got to ask you a couple of final questions then before we let you go. I get emails. People complain if I forget this. That is, what is your favorite text editor and scripting language?
Well, for text editing, I use Kate, which is, I mean, I'm a KDE Plasma editor, so I use what comes, which is Kate.
Yep.
Recently, I've been like doing a lot of Markdown.
Okay.
So I've like enjoyed using Ghostwriter and Clevernote. They're just 2 small KDE apps, which are nice. And scripting language, I mean, I'm not a programmer. I've done some programming. I know a little bit of JavaScript and Python, but I don't think I have a favorite scripting language.
All right, fair enough. I appreciate so much you being here with us. It has been a delight to be able to talk about Kdenlive and KDE. Thank you, sir.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Cheers to all.
Yes. All right. So Dan, what do you think? Have we converted you? Are you going to try Kdenlive again?
Yeah, I definitely am actually. Yeah. I'm intrigued by the some of the things I've heard about it, and I really want to try it out actually. So I don't do a whole ton of video editing, but occasionally every few months I'll get stacked up with that sort of stuff, and I have to do a lot of it. So I think now that I'm having a bit of downtime, it's perfect time to try out a new editor. And talking to Farid was fantastic. And I think there's you may well have converted me. I watch this space. I'll get back to you and let you know.
Yeah. All right. I've definitely enjoyed it as well. And I don't have time to go hack on the Kdenlive code base. I just don't. There are a couple of things that I would love to do there. There's a couple of things I would love to do in OBS, and I just don't have time to do it. So maybe I'll have to make a donation and earmark a little bit. Like, yeah, I want this to work for both of them. We'll see. If they do another donation drive, maybe we'll have to mention it on the show here and let folks know about it. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to plug, Dan, before we let folks go?
Not particularly. If you want to find out about anything I'm doing, you want to find my social media presence and all that sort of stuff, which is mostly Mastodon these days. You can find it at danlynch.org. That's danlynch.org. Just have a look over there. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I've got to plug this time, I think.
All right, understood. Next week, we don't have a guest yet. We have a guest for 2 weeks. We're going to talk about a Radia audiobook, which is going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Next week is empty. We may try to get Doc and the guys back and talk about vibe coding, because that's sort of the thing that's in the news right now. We'll see what happens if we can't get another guest. But yeah. I have a feeling it's going to be. We'll have to have. Here's what would be interesting. We have Doc and Randall on the show at the same time, because I think Doc is sort of a stay off my lawn, and Randall is fully embraced vibe coding. It's fun. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be very good.
Yeah, we'll see if we can do it. All right. Well, do want to let folks know, if you want to follow my stuff, there is Hackaday. That's where the security column goes live on Friday mornings, and we appreciate Hackaday being the home of Floss Weekly these days. There's also the Untitled Linux Show over at twit.tv/ULS, and you can find me there as well. With that, we appreciate everybody that's here. Thanks for watching, whether it's live or on the download, and we will see you next week on Floss Weekly.